In this video, I'm going to show you how to add text and also a shadow layer to the text. This is our tools palette on the side here. You may want to move it in a little bit closer if it's too far away. I'm going to choose the T, which is our text tool. And if I move that over on top and I type in a name, I'm just going to use my daughter's name. Okay. In order to get out of the text tool, use your pointer tool, which is right at the top, and that allows you to move that around. You can center it any way that you want. So what you're doing is you're making a personality poster, and you want your name to be right at the top, or it could be in the middle, it could be diagonal, however you want to do that. Okay. I'm going to go back into the text tool. And I'm just going to double click, which highlights the whole thing. And now I have control over things such as color. If you look at this little block here, I have color. So if I don't like purple, I can go for black. I could go for red, whichever. Red doesn't work out too good there, so I'm just going to go with black. Okay. The other thing I can do is I can change the font. Okay, I can change it to something more like that. And I can also change the size of it. Now this pull-down menu will only give you up to 72 point, but you can put in any value you want. So I actually want to go a bit bigger. I'm going to put in 125 point, and that seems to work. And now I'm going to click, and you'll notice that I have this here. I want you to look over on the side of the screen, and what you should have is a layers palette. If you don't see that, go up to the top, hit Window, and make sure that layers has been checked. Layers is the most important thing here, and you'll see why, because when you're finished with your poster, you're going to have numerous layers. Okay, so we need don't be afraid of layers. Make sure that's clicked, and we're looking over here. Now we have these are my two layers. Right now I have a background, and it shows me what the background looks like, and then I have this layer here, which is a text layer. This T tells me it's a text layer, and it also tells me what text is in that. Okay, so it says Sydney. What I want to do now is I want to create a shadow for the name Sydney, and this will make it appear as if the letters are floating just a little bit above the surface of the paper. Okay, so the way I do that is I'm going to right click on that layer, and I'm going to hit duplicate layer, and I'll hit OK, and it's now added a Sydney copy layer. Now you can't see it, but it's there. Now if I take my pointer tool and move it a little bit, you'll notice that I do have two layers. What I want to do is I want to change the color of this one, and I want to blur it slightly. Now you have to change the color first, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to hit my text tool, and I'm going to double click on it. And because the shadow is going to be on top of red, the color I'm looking for is a deep red. Okay, so I'm going to choose, make sure that your slider is up in the red area, and just choose a red that's not too black, but somewhat dark. Okay, we have that. Now I'm going to get out of text tool by hitting my move tool, and that allows me to move it around. The next thing I want to do is to blur this. So I'm going to go into filter. This is one of the top pull down menus. We have filter, and then you'll see blur, and inside that you'll see Gaussian blur. Now it's going to ask you a question. Rather than explain it, I'm just going to say hit OK. What you're doing is you're basically converting text into graphics, because you can't really blur text. Okay, so that means you can't really go in and change the text anymore. This is now a picture rather than text. You'll notice that as I move this slider, okay, it's blurring that layer. Now if you move it too far, the blur becomes so much that it's just not really recognizable. Okay, if you move it all the way down, we have no blur. So you're looking for something, I don't know, probably around 20 to 25 point. I'm going to hit OK. And now I can move this up, and I want it to go underneath Sydney. Okay, now there's a problem here, is that this layer is on top, and it has to do with the ordering over here. Okay, so my shadow layer is now on top of my Sydney layer. So I just need to do one more thing to finish up this operation. Up here we have a layer pull-down menu, and if I click on that, you're going to see arrange, and then you're going to see send backwards. There's also a shortcut, control, and it's the bracket next to the letter P. And we'll use that a little bit later. So for now, we'll just click send backwards. Okay, and later on we'll use the shortcut. But you'll notice now that the shadow has been moved. Okay, and you can see it here in your layers palette. Okay, we have Sydney on top of the shadow layer. Okay, So that's been moved, and you can certainly move that around a bit. Now, to make it look like it's higher off the page, you move the shadow away from it. Or to make it look like it's just slightly off the page, move the shadow in even closer. Okay, so go ahead, try the text tool, put your name in, and put a shadow layer underneath the name.